call it selling out your principles. I call it winning. And that's my principle. To win as a socialist, not to lose as a socialist. That's not my principle. I don't give a about principled failure. Principled failure is worth dog shit.
Let's imagine the following scenario. Let's imagine an American athlete, a boxer, Mr. Rocky. And Mr. Rocky, he really loves boxing. He is passionate about the sport. He gives all his life to the sport. He really believes in the rules of the game. And he gives an interview where he says that boxing is one of the greatest achievements that mankind has ever made. And in order to make boxing what it is, you need rules. And he has absolutely no respect for people who break the rules. He thinks that a person that punches under the belt willingly is a despicable person. If it was up to him, anyone that punches under the belt willingly would be banned from the sport. Now, the next day, he's got a competition coming on. The next day, he's going to fight against the Russian champion, the champion of the people, the Soviet Union's best. And as the fight starts, the American begins showing dominance. He manages to push the Soviet guy in the corner. The Soviet guy is on the ropes. And it seems that victory is going to be all but assured for Mr. Rocky. Now, the Soviet guy, all of a sudden, takes his gloves off and pulls out a knife. Now, several things are going to happen in Rocky's mind, and they're going to happen within a fraction of a second. The first thing is going to be utter disbelief. He just doesn't know what to do with this information. He never seen someone even attempt something like this before. It's unheard of. It's like clear violation of the rules. It goes way beyond what he thought that another boxer will do in order to achieve victory. But then, as he manages to realize that it's actually happening, he's going to lose all respect for the other athlete. He's not even going to consider him an athlete. At this point, he's just a common thug. I mean, the disrespect quickly turns into disgust. It's like, why would someone act like this? There is no justification for what he just did. And then he steps back, realizing that he won the match. There is absolutely no one that's going to challenge this. The referee is going to stop the match right there and then. Security is going to come on and they're going to intervene. But for Rocky's surprise, as he's looking around in order to see if anyone is going to stop the match, but no one does anything, right? The match is still going. So obviously, Rocky is going to try to defend himself. At this point, it's not really about boxing. It's more about survival. And he's going to punch under the belt. And he punches under the belt. The Russian guy, gets KO'd, falls down, he's in pain. He manages to pick up the knife, throws it away, and the match is over. Now, imagine if someone were to come to Rocky and he would say, you know what, you said yesterday that you shouldn't punch under the belt, and you punched under the belt today. Are you going to resign from sports? Are you going to, because you're not a man of principle, right? And this is the way I think you can explain the whole thing that's happening a lot on the internet. Like, you will see a person that's actively against free speech, and they will say if it was up to them, like, all political opponents should be banned. Everyone that doesn't agree with him should be banned. We need more TOS. We need more censorship. More. And then you have people on the opposite end of the spectrum that are like, no, we need more free speech. We need free expression. We need people to express themselves, right? And every now and then you're going to see a person that advocates for censorship getting banned. And then the person advocating for censorship who got banned is going to go towards it like, oh, you free speech warriors, oh, why don't you defend me? Why don't you say anything in order to help me? Why? And to me, it's like, well, these free speech arsonists, like I said in the previous video, these people that, if it was up to them, like, free speech wouldn't even be a human right. They would limit it until it would just be a ghoulish thing of what it once was. No one would recognize it. These people that actively spend their time in order to limit the freedom of speech of others just to embolden their ideology, they are like the free speech arsonists. And the question is, like, why would the firefighters, the people that try to put down the fire of destruction, why would they rescue the arsonists? Why would they be interested? Like, they're not the ones that usually get the people that are pro-censorship censored. It's usually like their side. It's usually the TOS that they created that gets them censored. So why should a free speech advocate then help the person that is trying to burn down the concept to the ground? I don't understand that. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have morals, right? Like 99% of the time, as I mentioned before, Rocky would follow the rules of the game, right? Like Rocky would try to follow the rules of the game, because without the rules of the game, there is no game. I mean, if everyone would be allowed to carry a knife at a boxing match, then it wouldn't be boxing anymore. It would probably be something else. So you need to still have values. You need to still have morals. And you do this because you set a good example for the people around you. Like, you can be the hero for the people around you. They will want to be like you. They look up to athletes and to people that believe into the rules of the game. They look down upon the people who violate the rules. Now, if it happens that someone actively states they don't care about the rules and they're not interested in following them, then why would you play with them? Why would you even engage with them? Like, they're not interested in having a fair game. They want to win at any cost. At any cost includes like even breaking the rules to the point where the game doesn't even resemble what the game used to be. So why would you play? Yeah. So when Styx Hexenhammer says he doesn't want to debate Vaush, Styx Hexenhammer is in the right. Why would you want to go into the ring with a person that doesn't follow the rules? And not only doesn't follow the rules, he says before the game even starts, he actively states like, no, I'm not interested in following the rules. I'm not here to play the game. I'm here to win. And because of that, yeah, like I think people like Styx were 100% in their right to refuse to debate Vaush. People like Crowder were 100% in the right to refuse to debate Sam Seder. And it's not because of the ideology that these people hold, because I still think like you should debate a person of an opposite ideology. But it's the tactics that they employ. Like, they outright say, it's like, no, we're for censorship. We want our opponents to be censored. We want terms of service to be even more restrict. We will say whatever it means that gets us to win. Like, we will lie even if that's required. We don't have morals. I don't care about my morals. Why would you debate these people? There's no reason to debate them. They're outright lying. And when these people get censored, when they advocate for censorship, why would you defend them? You're not the person that's doing the censorship. You're not the one advocating for them getting censored, but if they get censored through their own devices, why would you do that? I mean, let's be a little progressive here and circle back to my previous example about boxing. Let's say that in this alternate universe, you have a couple of corrupt athletes that are allowed to go with a knife in the ring. And obviously they will win. You know, imagine like Mike Tyson goes up in the ring and this guy called George pulls out a butterfly knife against Mike Tyson. And obviously he wins, right? And then Mike Tyson goes like, well, the other guy, he had the knife. He had the knife. And people would be like, what are you talking about? Why are you lying? No, you lost because you weren't good enough. You lost because you're bad. It's like, dude, I ran out of the ring. I was afraid for my life. I'm not fighting that. It's like, well, you know, that just proves you're a coward. You need to be better. So who would play boxing after that? Who would even get in the ring with George? But you know, maybe you'd have like some crazy people that would still put their gloves on and they'll be like, I'm such a great boxer, I don't care if George has a knife. I'll just take it. But now imagine the following situation. Imagine Mike Tyson wants a rematch against George, right? They both get into the ring. George pulls out his knife and Mike Tyson pulls out his knife as well. And all of a sudden, everyone is horrified. Everyone is shocked. Everyone is in disbelief. Everyone is just like jaw-dropping. We need to stop the match right now. Like, we need to do something. This can't be allowed to continue, right? And then imagine if a reporter would come to me and would be like, V, for your entire career, you spoke about how important the rules of boxing are. You really believe in the sport. You genuinely think that nothing is more important than the rules. What do you make of Mike Tyson? Isn't Mike Tyson bad for pulling out a knife? Like, shouldn't he be condemned? Shouldn't we ban him forever? And I would be like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you created this sport. You created this muck right now, which is not even boxing. Like, you made a mockery of the sanctity of the ring. Like, it's your fault now. You made the bed. You fucking sleep in it. VC, we always knew you don't really care. We always knew you don't have principles. We always knew that you don't really give a shit. And that's the way how I view the situation, right? That's the way I would probably be, yeah, you know what, like Mike Tyson, yeah, I hope he wins against Josh. I hope he wins against Josh because Josh was asking for it. Like, maybe once Mike Tyson wins, he will prove a point and everyone else is going to realize that, okay, well, maybe the rules were there in the beginning for a purpose. Maybe the rules are good and they maintain the sanctity of the sport. And without the rules, you end up with chaos. and you end up with something horrible.